In the year 1968, as the world grappled with the turbulent winds of change, a remarkable event was about to unfold. One that would not only mark a significant milestone in human exploration, but also bring a touch of earthly warmth to the cold expanse of space. This was the time of Apollo 8, the first manned mission to orbit the Moon, a journey that would carry with it an unexpected yet profoundly human element: the Christmas dinner. During this period, the United States was deeply embroiled in the Vietnam War. The civil rights movement was at its peak, and the political landscape was as tumultuous as ever. Yet, amidst these earthly concerns, NASA's Apollo program symbolized hope, unity, and the indomitable human spirit. On December 21st, Apollo 8 lifted off from Cape Kennedy, Florida, with astronauts Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and William Anders aboard the Saturn V rocket. Their mission was audacious: to become the first humans to travel to the Moon, orbit it, and return safely to Earth. But as events unfolded, it became clear that this mission would also serve as a bridge between the familiar comforts of home and the vast unknown of space. Throughout the era of space exploration, food had always been a critical component, not just for sustenance, but for morale. The Apollo 8 crew was no exception. However, as they embarked on their journey to the Moon, the crew found themselves lacking in appetite. Food scientist Malcolm Smith later detailed the crew's minimal food intake. Frank Borman, in particular, consumed the least, with just 881 calories on day 2, a concern noted by flight surgeon Chuck Berry. Borman attributed this to the unappetizing nature of most of the food provided. The crew tended to avoid the compressed, bite-sized items and faced another challenge. When rehydrating their meals, the food often absorbed the flavor of its packaging rather than retaining its original taste. In the midst of this culinary challenge, a surprise awaited the crew on Christmas Day. As they opened their food locker, they were delighted to find a specially packed Christmas dinner, complete with red and green ribbons. This home-cooked meal, as close to a traditional holiday feast as NASA could muster for space travel, lifted the crew's spirits and whet their appetites. The Apollo 8 Christmas menu included dehydrated grape drink, cranberry applesauce, and coffee, as well as a wet pack containing turkey and gravy. Throughout the 1960s, astronauts and personnel at the Manned Spacecraft Center had voiced numerous complaints about the food provided. Prior to the Apollo 8 mission, Apollo 9 astronaut Jim McDivitt took matters into his own hands, jotting down his in-flight food preferences on the back of the Apollo 8 crew menu. He urged the food lab to reduce the quantity of compressed, bite-sized items to a bare minimum, and to incorporate more meat and potato dishes. Expressing his concern, McDivitt wrote, "I get awfully hungry, and I'm afraid I'm going to starve to death on that menu." The importance of this meal extended beyond its culinary appeal. It marked a significant moment in the evolution of space food. In 1969, Rita Rapp, a physiologist leading the Apollo Food System team, approached Donald Arabian, head of the Mission Evaluation Room, for his assessment of a 4-day food supply used in the Apollo missions. Arabian, known for his adventurous palate and humorously describing himself as a human garbage can, was surprised to find the food lacking in flavor, aroma, appearance, texture, and taste. At the end of his 4-day assessment, he concluded that the pleasures of eating were lost to the point where interest in eating was essentially curtailed. However, when the Apollo 8 crew unwrapped their Christmas surprise, a specially prepared meal complete with ribbons, their delight was genuine. It turned out to be a full-on space feast. Turkey with gravy, cranberry sauce, and even grape punch. So good, in fact, that astronaut Jim Lovell couldn't resist contacting Mission Control to share their good fortune. "Looks like we might have been a little rough on the food guys back home," he chuckled to capsule communicator Mike Collins. "Right after our TV broadcast, Santa Claus dropped off a TV dinner for each of us, and let me tell you, it was outstanding. Turkey, gravy, cranberry sauce, the whole works." In response, Collins expressed delight in hearing the good news, but shared that the flight control team was not as lucky. Instead, they were eating cold coffee and bologna sandwiches. This moment, captured in the vast emptiness of space, served as a poignant reminder of the human spirit's ability to find warmth, comfort, and connection, even in the most inhospitable environments. The Apollo 8 Christmas dinner became a cherished anecdote, a testament to the enduring power of tradition and the importance of food in bringing people together, no matter how far from home they might be. As the Apollo 8 crew made their way through the vast expanse of space, the challenges of eating in zero gravity were starkly apparent. The food provided by NASA, while functional, often left much to be desired in terms of taste and appeal. Malcolm Smith's detailed analysis of the crew's food intake during the mission highlighted the astronauts' struggle with their appetite, particularly Frank Borman's minimal caloric intake. The issue wasn't just about the food's lack of flavor, it was also about its texture and presentation. The compressed, bite-sized items were not only uninviting, but also absorbed the taste of their packaging, making the eating experience less than enjoyable. This was a known issue, as astronauts and personnel at the Manned Spacecraft Center had been vocal about the need for better food options throughout the 1960s. Jim McDivitt's proactive approach, writing his preferences on the back of the Apollo 8 crew menu, underscored the urgency and importance of improving the space food system. His plea for more substantial, flavorful meals like meat and potatoes was a call for NASA to recognize the psychological and nutritional needs of its astronauts, especially on long-duration missions. Fast forward to 1969, when Rita Rapp sought the expertise of Donald Arabian to evaluate the Apollo food supply. Arabian's candid assessment that the food was devoid of the pleasures of eating was a stark reminder of how much work still needed to be done. His conclusion that interest in eating was essentially curtailed painted a picture of astronauts struggling to find joy in one of life's most basic pleasures. But then came the moment of Christmas magic in space. When the Apollo 8 crew opened their food locker, they were greeted by a sight that brought instant joy. A Christmas dinner adorned with festive ribbons. The meal was a thoughtful amalgamation of holiday traditions designed to evoke the warmth of home. Turkey with gravy, cranberry sauce, and grape punch were not just food. They were symbols of celebration, unity, and the human spirit's resilience. The surprise meal was a testament to NASA's efforts to address the astronauts' complaints and provide something special during this historic mission. Jim Lovell's jovial report to Mission Control, expressing his gratitude for the unexpected feast, was a moment of levity and connection. His words, "Looks like we might have been a little rough on the food guys back home," acknowledged the efforts of those working tirelessly to improve the astronauts' quality of life in space. This Christmas dinner in space was more than just a meal. It was a beacon of hope and a reminder of the holidays, a time meant for gathering, reflection, and celebration. While the crews savored their feast back on Earth, the flight control team, as Mike Collins humorously noted, had to make do with less festive fare, highlighting the contrast between the astronauts' experience and those supporting from the ground. The significance of this meal transcends its immediate culinary appeal. It marked a turning point in the evolution of space food, where NASA began to seriously consider the psychological aspects of eating in space. The Christmas dinner of Apollo 8 was a catalyst for change, leading to innovations in space cuisine that would make future missions more palatable and enjoyable. This event, steeped in the spirit of Christmas, became a cherished memory for the Apollo 8 crew. A moment where the vastness of space was momentarily bridged by the simple act of sharing a meal, a tradition as old as humanity itself. It was a small yet profound gesture that underscored the importance of maintaining human traditions and morale, no matter how far from home one might be. The Apollo 8 mission, a landmark in human space exploration, was not just about the technical achievements of reaching and orbiting the moon. It was also a journey of human endurance, resilience, and the need for a touch of familiarity in the unfamiliar. The Christmas dinner aboard Apollo 8 served as a poignant reminder of these elements. As the spacecraft made its way towards the moon, the crew faced the stark reality of eating in zero gravity. The food provided was functional, designed to meet nutritional needs, but it fell short in providing the sensory pleasures of a good meal. Frank Borman's low caloric intake and the general disinterest in the food highlighted a critical issue: the psychological aspect of eating in space. The unappetizing nature of the meals was not just about taste, it was about the astronauts' morale. The compressed, bite-sized items, while practical for space travel, were often described as uninviting and absorbed the flavor of their packaging, a far cry from the comforting meals of home. The complaints about food were not new. Throughout the 1960s, astronauts and NASA personnel had been vocal about the need for better quality, more appealing meals. Jim McDivot's notes on the back of the Apollo 8 menu were a testament to this ongoing struggle. His plea for more substantial food was not just about hunger, but about maintaining mental health and performance on long missions. By 1969, when Rita Rapp sought Donald Arabian's evaluation, the realization was clear. The food needed to be more than just sustenance, it needed to be enjoyable. Arabian's assessment, though humorous in tone, was a sobering reminder of how the lack of culinary pleasures could impact the astronauts' eating habits, and by extension, their well-being. Then came the unexpected joy of Christmas Day in 1968. The Apollo 8 crew, opening their food locker, found a sight that immediately lifted their spirits: a Christmas dinner, complete with festive decorations. This meal, a blend of tradition and innovation, was NASA's response to the crew's needs for comfort and morale. The menu, including turkey, gravy, cranberry sauce, and grape punch, was not just food, it was a celebration of their shared humanity. It was a moment where the vastness of space seemed to shrink, as the crew partook in a tradition as old as civilization itself. Sharing a meal. Jim Lovell's light-hearted report to Mission Control, acknowledging the unexpected feast, was a moment of connection not just with those on Earth, but with the traditions and celebrations happening far below. His acknowledgement that they might have been a little rough on the food guys back home was a humble recognition of the efforts to improve their experience in space. The Christmas dinner was more than just a meal, it was a symbol of progress in space food technology. It marked the beginning of a new era where NASA would increasingly focus on the sensory and psychological aspects of eating in space. This event spurred innovations in food preparation, packaging, and variety, aiming to make meals in space more akin to those on Earth. For the Apollo 8 crew, this meal was a cherished memory, a moment of warmth in the cold void of space. It served as a reminder that even in the pursuit of the extraordinary, the ordinary acts of human connection and tradition hold immense value. As they orbited the moon, eating their festive meal, the crew of Apollo 8 not only celebrated Christmas, but also the enduring spirit of exploration, the human need for comfort, and the capacity to find joy in the simplest of acts, even in the most extraordinary of circumstances. The Apollo 8 Christmas dinner became a legend, a story told and retold, symbolizing humanity's reach towards the stars while holding on to the heartstrings that connect us all to home.